Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a high-level best of 3. This particular one is from the Korean StarCraft League number 10, in the bottom right, spawning as our currently green-looking Zerg, but now red. It's going to be dark. And in the top left as our blue Terran player, it is of course a Gumiho. Gumiho versus Dark here. Interesting little match that we have going on. Gumiho, a player that does like to switch things up every now and again. Some rather odd build orders. Now, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that we have hopefully a fantastic series. This series actually came recommended. Whenever this replay pack gets released, there's a couple of recommended series, and this was one of the recommended series. Dark versus Gumiho, so I'm very curious. That's the good news. Ooh! There's also good news for Gumiho as he took out a drone. The bad news is that my middle scroll wheel isn't functioning entirely properly. And there is a very long story, which I will try to relay here in the early game. So, my middle scroll wheel stopped working. Well, it works, but not all the time. It's not a huge deal while playing, but it's annoying while observer, because in order to drag with a, smoothly around here, you have to hold the middle scroll wheel. And sometimes it just unclicks itself for whatever reason. I messaged the company and they told me to, go to the retailer. So I went through the retailer. They sent me a new mouse, but they did tell me to return the old mouse. So I got the new mouse, I packaged the old mouse and sent it back on its way. Except that when I got back home from the post office, I realized that I had unpacked the new mouse, laid it next to the old mouse, then packaged the new mouse that they had sent me once again, and send it back to Amazon. So now I returned the same product that they sent me, and I don't have a new mouse anymore. And I'm too afraid to message Amazon telling them what an idiot I am. So I decided that temporarily I'm going to live with this. I was considering switching mice anyway, and it doesn't really impact me while playing, but I feel like an absolute idiot, and I don't entirely know what to do about it. So, if your uncle is Jeff Bezos, please be sure to send me a direct message on Discord or Twitter. And otherwise, I guess there's no real solution for me yet. I'm pretty sure that if I message him and tell them what happened, it will be fine. But I don't really want to have to tell this to anyone else. There will be some direct judgment going on there that I'm not quite ready for yet. I'll let it settle in for another week. Ooh. This is a really quick lair here, out of dark. I kind of do like that. Could be looking perhaps at a 2-base build. Or a 2-base build, like a 3-base Murav rush. Basically a 2-base build, but instead with 3-base. Except, I guess we don't have too many gases yet. So maybe that theory is flawed as well over here. We don't have a Baneling nest either. Perhaps it's a Nydus network instead. We still have queens. We have lings in production as well. And we're about to hit 150 gas. So this does feel correct. Yep, there we go. Queen Nydus. Queen Ling Nydus, I should say, of 45 workers. With a second gas. That is somewhat surprising to me, the second gas. Like, what is that going to be used for? And you don't really need it for queens. There's a lot of lings here in the main base. Is that a tell, though? Is that really a tell? Does Gumiho look at it and think, oh, lots of links in the main base? That might be an issue later on. It's like, no, I don't think so. Just a single eBay, that means that his production is going to kick off a lot faster. I'm not quite sure what this indicates. In general, I think his opener is fantastic against what he is playing. Does not spot that first Nydus. Not quite yet. Not yet. He's going to see it right now with the command center floating over. How fast is the response? It's really darn fast. Tanks move in towards the main base immediately. Hellions are slightly caught out. This tank is set up properly though, and these Hellions are tucked in between these minerals. Hellions here at the front defending as well. SCVs need to be pulled for this forward. Nydus tank in the main base is holding on, but the Nydus in the natural could be the real issue here. Links popping out at a very high pace. Second tank Izal is going to set up and will definitely help. No. Oh my god, Nydus barely survives. Queens are now out. Can start transfusing it. At least once the creep has spread far enough, the transfuse are possible. Marine count is fairly high. Stim is available, is not being used quite yet, as 11 workers have gone down on the side of Gumiho. All Gumiho needs to do though is survive. If he can stay alive, if he can keep his tank count growing, he is going to be just fine. There's no real follow-up available here for Dark. but perhaps he doesn't need a follow-up. Lings are now streaming in, trying to take out these Marines. Medevacs are coming in for the healing tank on sieges, as the Viking lands as well for some extra added damage output. I almost feel like Gumiho needs to give up this natural base. Not let it die, but lift it and give up that position temporarily. However, it might actually be giving it up completely here. It's not lifting it. Gumiho, what a failure. What an error here out of him. Not lifting his command center and losing it means he's now stuck on 2 bases. We have 35 workers to 42. There's a Roach Warren follow-up. Dark realizes that most likely there's going to be a tank Marine push coming out of Gumiho, who does have somewhat okay barracks production. Tank, Viking and Marine. The Brothers in Arms will take out this Nydus network. It's not going to be much of an issue anymore. And here comes the double medevac in towards the main base. No, towards the third we go. Combat shield finishing up soon as well. And this is still a significant force, especially with combat shield. But I think with the amount of links that are here and the amount of queens specifically, should be no issue here for Dark, who's also producing roaches already. Spreading creep on the other side of the map. This is always so frustrating, right? You lose your natural CC, but on top of that you can't even land another CC there, because it's just absolutely covered in creep. Single scan is going to clear it, but it will take a little while until it is all gone. Worker counts are looking fantastic for Dark. He's already taking a 4th base. Gumiho stuck on 35 workers. Does have a minor upgrade lead. Is working on his tank count, but it's currently only at 1, so it's not really working on it that hard. You know, it's an okay tank count, but that's really as far as I would go. Dark right now afraid of an aggressive Nydus coming out of the Terran, forgetting that Terrans don't have a Nydus. Not quite sure why else they would be patrolling here, perhaps for a Doom drop into the main. Overlord spread is actually fairly mediocre out of Dark. Has no vision covering the bottom side, has no link spread around the map for vision either. Just playing ultra defensive on his own creep. Not really caring about anything else. There's an 8 Marine drop heading towards the main, but there's so many units already there. Even if it completely gets to unload untouched, it will still not be capable of dealing any damage in the main base. Instead it goes to unload over here at the 6 o'clock location. Picks up. I guess it healed a little bit. And now we'll start moving forward. There's not a single medevac with this particular push. Does clear a little bit of creep. As Dark's responses are very fast. And this medevac should be incapable of doing anything whatsoever. Viking landed. Doesn't get anything done either, and 1-1 Roach will be the follow-up for Dark. There's no 3rd CC. It's literally Dark up 2 bases. And the funny thing is that I believe he could kill his opponent if he wanted right now. He could move across the map. He could be the aggressor. He's not, but I think he could be. Might be in a bit of trouble though here at his 4th base. He was completely caught out of position due to his poor vision range around his bases. Tanks are putting in some serious work as well. Where's the rest of the army? There's a lot of queens still stuck in the main base. But 4 does die. Gumiho's probably starting to feel semi-confident here. And then the rest of the army shows up. He's like, wait a second. Why didn't you use that in the main fight, buddy? Hello? Yeah, this is still looking pretty much impossible here for Gumiho, right? 3rd CC now on the way. Gumiho must be fairly confused as to what is going on, because it felt like he was almost winning that fight. And now he's going to get absolutely destroyed here at home. And it's 22 roaches to 21 marines. There's links in there, there's ravagers. The queen count is fairly high, which does inflate the army count. Not all of those units are going to be capable of joining up here and aiding in the fight. Marines do blunt the attack a little bit, taking out a bunch of those Zerglings initially. Tank sieges up in the very far back, but yeah, there's just not enough cannon fodder anymore for these tanks to continue shooting. One gets taken out by Biles. CC gets taken out as well. And Gumiho taps out with a GG. And Stark wins game number 1 off the back of his Nydus Worm. Exciting game 1, albeit a little bit one-sided, with Dark taking it in the end. It always feels like Dark just plays whatever he truly wants. You know, he wakes up in the morning, eats his eggs. Maybe he has bacon with his eggs. Maybe a plain egg eater, you know, just eggs. Maybe just egg whites. Egg whites and peanut butter. That is what Dark eats in the morning. And he's like, what am I gonna play today? And he looks at his little booklet that he has of builds that aren't quite optimized yet. But he does like playing. It's like a poem with lots of spelling, you know, with grammatical mistakes and spelling errors. Dark doesn't really care so much about the optimization. It is the thought of the poem, you know, that truly counts. He cares about correct grammar, having a properly optimized build. He actually did something interesting here. We didn't see it because I skipped the first minute and 45 seconds, but Dark actually pulled into gas. So it's common in the Terran versus Zerg matchup to actually rally into gas and then to pull out of gas towards your natural once your natural finishes. This lowers your overall gas income, but it means that you have more money, and more money means better eco majority of the time. It always means better eco. Minerals are what produces your economy, right? Overlord, hatcheries, queens, drones, all of that jazz, all only cost minerals. So the more minerals you have earlier, the better your eco is going to be. But Dark instead says, no, I actually don't give a crap about that. I want really fast speed. And he got really fast speed, then sent 6 slowlings across the map, and he lost them before his speed finished. So, make of that what you will. I was hoping there was going to be some grand point to him rushing out metabolic boost 5 seconds faster than you would in CVP, and about 35 seconds faster than the average Zerg gets it in Zerg versus Terran. Dark just lost 6 of his links for free 5 seconds before his speed finished. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the point was, but I do appreciate it. Oh, this is interesting. This is a 4-gas opener. This is triple starport, double starport, battlecruiser, I think, triple CC. And this is fairly easy to scout at times. We once again have a reasonably quick lair here coming out of Dark. Not quite as fast as last game, I don't believe. But yeah, you don't play 4-gas openers and then build a single battlecruiser, my friends. Now this is something else. This is something different. This is some heavy gas investments over here. Ooh, what? Oh, okay. He builds the Banshee in case he's being road rushed. I was like, why is he building a Banshee? There goes my entire theory. But no, this actually does make sense. This is what you're always supposed to do. You build a Banshee, and if you're being road rushed, you finish the Banshee because it, you know, pops so much quicker than battlecruisers ever would. Now, here comes a bit of a Ling attack. Hellions at home should be capable of defending this, hopefully. At the same time, more Lings are pushing in. This is such a weird setup coming out of Gumiho that Dark scouting this, it probably confuses him a fair amount. But at the same time, he's killing so many workers. Like, no matter what it is, he's probably just going to be okay. He sees the complete lack of cloak being researched and double gases in the natural. Like, if he gets in towards the main and sees all the gases there, that is a huge tell. Another big tell, if he gets into the main, would have been to see the fusion core. That would be pretty much just showing, you know, the right answer, the correct answer. But Dark managed to guess it just from the rest of the setup. Like, low Hellion count, high gas count, no cloak here on the tech. There were a lot of hints on the table, and he managed to gamble the, well, guess the correct answer. Deduct Sherlock Holmes over here. However, he shouldn't be capable of knowing how many BCs it's going to be. I really think that Gumiho was planning on building multiple starports with how quickly he rushed into those extra refineries. But due to losing that many workers, I don't think that he believed that to be quite viable anymore. As a result, now is only playing single port battlecruiser. He's taking out a bunch of workers here, which is nice. It's really important he doesn't lose this BC though, and I'm not so sure if he's going to be capable of keeping this alive. It's going to be close. It's going to be real close. With 10 HP it escapes and 5 kills on its CV. It will be heading back home. These Hellions get blasted by 5 Lings and a single Queen. The Hellions say, well, that was fun, but we'll see you another time. It's 43 workers to 47. This is fairly low. But come on, Gumiho, please don't do this to me, brother. Don't sweat it. Don't lose a 700 resource unit because you want to kill another Overlord. This is not how you're supposed to be doing that. I don't believe it. Triple factories are being added in as the worker count for Dark is still really low. Yes, he killed a crap ton of workers earlier on, 11, but he did also build a bunch of Lings himself. Now, Mutas are coming out. Mutas? Wait, what? I said Mutas like I expected that to be Mutas. I thought that was going to be Corruptors. Dark is supply block as well, massively supply block, a painful supply block, especially given that he's building Mutas over Corruptors. If your Corruptors are a bit delayed, it's not the end of the world. Like, you're probably not planning on dealing damage, you're planning on defending with them. But with Miras, you want to really fly in with a high number of Miras the first time. That's the most important timing that the Mutalisk has. So the fact that that's not possible now kind of forces Dark to quickly switch into Roaches behind this. So it's like a fake Mura into Roach, but still getting his +1 as well. What's he gonna snipe here? Queen, I guess. Yep, there we go. Did the rocks just change as the Yamato hit? I think it did. Nope. Here the Mutas. Trying to move away from these BCs. I mean, Yamato should be possible here. One Mura will fall. But 6-7 workers here being taken out. This has been the most impressive 4 Mutas I've seen in my life. Just taking out 11 workers once again. So lots of workers here being lost for Gumiho. Total of 22. Fort base hasn't been secured yet though. On the other side of the map. Dark is moving into Corruptors now. I wonder if this was his actual plan. Just like the 3 Muras, the initial Muras. Deal some damage, then into Roach Corruptor. Does feel like he's setting up for a timing attack as well. And the Mutas are great at controlling these Hellions too. They're kind of like a map control type of unit here. Which is really cool to watch. 10 Ravagers morphed in. This is a 60 drone all in. This is a tight build order. This is tight. I don't feel like Dark has the lead where he can just walk across the map and kill his opponent with something like this. I'm surprised he's going for it, but it is Dark, and Dark usually makes things work that other people don't believe should work. There's only a single tank here, 2 more will show up. It's gonna bring the total up to 3. Yes, I did finish elementary school, so that was easy for me. Hellbats can and should be morphed here. There we go. Instant morph on those Hellbats. Cyclones taking care of the Corruptors. That means that eventually, hopefully, the Battlecruisers are going to be in a good spot to help and deal with this push. This push is kind of getting destroyed here. Tank in the far back, dealing a lot of damage. 6 kills on this bad boy. A lot of those kills are going to be Ravagers. Here we get a couple of Biles, though. We need one more big shot. If it can splash, that would be huge, but it can't. High ground tank will need to siege up, will need to help out. As finally every single Corruptor is going to end up dying both to the turret as well as to this BC still floating above it. Gumiho survives for now. 6 Corruptors are on the way. SCVs, nice little split there. The high ground tank is still going strong. 12 kills on it currently. As the BC on 21 kills. Has the second BC survived? No, it has sadly passed away. May it rest in peace. 12 workers going down as these Roaches now spitting on one of these depots. Tank count up to 5. And there's only 10 Roaches. One could say that this was a successful hold here for Gumiho. There is, however, a fort base on the side of Dark, which he is droning up. He's adding his Evo chambers right now. So we're going into a macro game. Upgrades technically are faster for Gumiho. Infrastructure is good for Gumiho. Fort base is fairly delayed though. And Dark feels comfortable enough to just drone up to, I guess, whatever drone count he really wants to drone up to. I am wondering if it's going to be a range upgrade or range melee, or like what's the plan here exactly? Yeah, it's going to be a range melee. So we're kind of expecting a Baneling transition at this point then, or in the future. We're not quite seeing that yet. BC flies in, we'll take out one queen with Yamato. We'll take out the second queen just by killing it. Dark too slow there with the next transfuse. Drones will be the target for the BC. The BC is like, okay, these queens are too powerful, let me go bully some drones. Does get 6-7 kills here. That's really nice, actually. This is way more damage than this BC ever should have done. Dark being caught out of position with his Corruptors is fairly frustrating. Almost gets that BC, but not quite. And if you don't get that BC, it means it's going to get repaired here. Although there are no turrets in position. If Dark would have dived into this position, I think he could have gotten it. There's one turret, actually. There's one over here, but just one turret as anti-air. Maybe 3 Cyclones should have been enough, right? Probably. Dark now coming in with Swarm Host. I completely missed that transition. Let's hope that Gumiho didn't, but I'm afraid he might have. Let's take a look here at the first person out of Gumiho as this hits for the first time. It's like, oh, hey, wait a second. That's a lot of units there, Chief. That's a lot of Flying Locust. That doesn't look so great for me. As this BC is in some trouble as well. Is going to get repaired in place. As the Corruptors will take it out. Fairly frustrating. Biles forcing the SCVs away so it couldn't continue repairing. One Cyclone actually does end up falling there. The 4GC is flying over to its proper positioning here on the fort base. But Dark in a really good spot all of a sudden again. 75 works to 62. Still has those swarm host waves he can work with. Next one should be online pretty soon. Yep, there we go. Is he going to use it immediately? I don't know if he is. We don't have a Bailing Nest yet, so we're not going to see any Bailing Flood with it to try and take care of the Hellbats. Hellbat's often a very good tool at dealing with those locusts. I would love to see a couple of turrets being added in, but they're not quite here. Tanks are falling at a pretty rapid rate to have gone down already, and that means that these Ravagers and Roaches are having an absolute blast trying to take out some of these side buildings, whether that be turrets, depots, a refinery, or perhaps even trying to target down that orbital command. They were doing a pretty decent job at it, as well as Locusts cleaning up some of the supply. Trades have been going quite well for Dark, I feel like. Let's actually have a look at that. Resources lost is fairly even. That is not a good sign as a meching Terran player. We have Adrenal Glands on the way, and we have the Greater Spire coming in as well. That's really interesting. Vikings here are being built to deal with Locust. But yeah, GG is just gonna get called. Gumiho loses this game. Short games, relatively short games. Fairly one-sided, but still interesting to watch. Glad I did get to see them. Especially the second game was fairly interesting. Dark just playing off such a low drone count for a very long time. Aggressive StarCraft 2. And some of the most enjoyable StarCraft 2 always comes out of Dark. So that's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. If you did enjoy this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And hopefully I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye bye.